We're here with Alan Cumming, talking about creativity with one of the most creative artists around. Alan, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
Tell me first, when do you feel the most creative? You do so many different kinds of art, whether it's acting, writing, podcast directing, you name it. When do you feel most creative?
I kind of feel creative all the time. I mean, I feel that in my life, I sometimes feel I wish I had less ideas, and I wish because I'm kind of like, hey, how about that? Blah, blah, blah. And it's not a thing it's a part of you. It's part of your makeup and your sort of DNA, for me anyway. And it's sometimes a thing I try to switch off. But sometimes when I'm having downtime, that's when I get even more ideas. So I don't think of it as a thing that I choose to, bring in. I just feel it's there, it's a part of your whole raison d'etre.
Did you always feel that way, or was creativity an instinct that you sort of developed?
As a child, I used sort of storytelling and make-believe and, to help me in a situation that wasn't very nice. So I think I've always thought of creativity as a positive thing that's now it's my whole life and job. But I think I've always thought of it as a thing that can help you out of situations and be as a positive force in both your life and in the world.
Do you have any rituals that you follow or places you seek out when you're in a creative mood or want to get into one?
I like to go away. I've got a place in the Catskill Mountains where it's my home, but I go if I'm working on something and mulling, in my sort of mulling periods, I guess if I'm writing or wanting to kind of get a little sort of boost, I go there and shut myself off. So that's very much, I like to be kind of unbothered. In my life, I have to be able to be creative everywhere. But sometimes both to have a little downtime and also to sort of just see what I'm thinking and see what might be next. I use solitude in the countryside for that.
What's it like on a film set or a TV set where you have many different actors all sort of pursuing their own creative ambitions at once? Do you all bump into each other? Do you see the processes playing out?
Well, I think on a film set or a TV set, it's not the most creative place because the creativity has happened, but the root of the creativity has already occurred, and now you are fulfilling it. So you're just getting on with it. You're getting on with your job. Obviously, you're creating something, but when you're acting words that have already been written for you, and you've had the conversations about how you're going to interpret those, then actually on the actual set, the creativity is within. It's the play with the other actor and the kind of input of the director. So I think it's kind of ultimately creativity has to get down to business, and you're just doing it. You're getting it done on a set.
What is the place or the role of creativity in a reality television series? Have you found sort of outlets for it in the show that you're hosting?
Well, have you seen it?
Yes.
Because I'm acting a role. So it's very much like I'm not going, hello, and here we are, blah, blah, blah. I'm this sort of crazy person with cloaks on and things like that. So that was what really interested me about it, why I ended up doing it, because when they asked me, I was like, what? I've been asked to do certain host award shows, and I've fronted documentaries and done all these things. But I've never done something like this. And I watched it and I was like, oh, the Dutch version, which is based on. I watched it and I really loved it. And then I talked to the people, and they were really great, the producers, because I realized they'd asked me because they wanted me to kind of do something heightened and do something different and play a character. So then we kind of, got creative, and I sort of came up with this sort of idea of this dandy, eccentric Scottish laird, kind of James Bond villain almost. And so that's what I did. And I actually think that was my creativity in putting that in. And then there's this constant creativity during it because you're on the hoof all the time. I've got a little thing in my ear and I'm reacting to what's going on and sort of improvising with certain situations. But I think this show is very creative as it's sort of so many different things all together. And I think it really plays on how great it is to watch people lying and to being creative. Lying is being creative. And how we don't normally get to see people lying so blatantly, and they have to lie. They don't have a choice. And so I think that's a really fascinating thing just sociologically for us to witness. So I think it's actually for a reality competition show, I think it is really creative, both in its structure and content and in its modus operandi, which is asking people to be creative all the time because they're lying and they're pretending.